Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Dreaming Disney again. So, last night, Tony and I saw Spider Man Brand New Day. Tony, I think one thing we got to talk about with this movie is our overall expectations, what we liked about the movie, what we expected, and what comes next for the MCU. So, before we get started, just make sure you guys are hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's get started.
Guys, just so you know, this will be filled with spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to save it down below so you can watch it, come back later, and then watch us.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Don't tell me what to do.
This is gonna feel a lot like John Bernthal in Spider-Man. I can already tell. The Punisher in Spider-Man.
First spoiler,
Yeah,
which I guess everybody
already knew that.
Yeah, so
So, Tony, did the film actually meet, exceed, or fall short of your expectations coming off of No Way Home?
coming off of No Way Home,
Yeah.
yes, then it fell through the cracks on that. And like I've told some of our closest friends, I think the problem was when you're just getting hit with like a bunch of different nostalgia bombs because
Yeah.
it's like we went and saw Spider-Man in the theaters with our mom when we were, I think, like probably 5 or 6.
Yep.
So seeing Toby, seeing Andrew Garfield on the big screen when they came in, it's like I felt my body like tingling from that. And this one, I never felt that feeling. I mean, there was a lot of great parts, but there was just nothing that ever got me to the point of like I'm literally starting to feel like that spider tingle.
Yeah.
So
It's one of those things where like the nostalgia, like you're saying, is kicking in, and it's to me, I'm the same way. Like, remember I said before we went into the theater, I was like, it's gonna be hard to beat Spidey 3 because of the fact that it's like I'm a cameo like Goblin, so it's one of those things when you got Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield jumping out of like portals, and then you got Green Goblin, who's my favorite supervillain of all time. So that was one of those things you can't like, and then Willem Dafoe, like him coming back and doing his own stunts, and I mean him just being as crazy as he was. It's one of those things where this movie, the bar was above the screen right now, and it's like, did it set it? I think it's just right below.
yeah, I saw it was a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think that's honestly just a bunch of commoners that are gonna give it a high score. I would put it like probably a 91%, which is still super high.
Yeah.
So it's not saying don't go and see it. It's just saying bring it down
Bring
to
it down.
reality.
Yeah. That's one of those things where it's like you're saying, it was a good movie. It's just one of those things. Did it beat like No Way Home? Absolutely no. Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
No.
Let's bring it back home.
Bring it back.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things that I just like some pros and cons, I guess, were I did like Sadie Sink. Here's our first spoiler, so hopefully you guys listen to Tony. But it was one of those things where when she gets introduced as Jean Grey, I love that. I love her character. She killed it, honestly. I mean, like the trauma, the feeling of like her and her sister dynamic and how that destroyed her,
Yeah, and when she figures out, I didn't know she had a sister first off,
I didn't either.
but just like everything that they kind of bring you into her world and you see why she was faced with that darkness. Yeah, that's really going to hit, a lot of people why she was the misfit that she was for so long.
Yep.
And I think in the end scene, her end scene basically, she's going back to the X-Men's mansion, I believe.
Yeah.
So
she's on the run too.
She's looking for other mutants that have been going through some, what. But I think that's the one thing I did like about. Maybe I don't know if you have a question about that, but this movie sets up a lot for Doomsday, in my opinion. So I will give them their flowers. I think they had to make this film, one, to make $1 billion, and two, to set up Doomsday to make another $1 billion.
Right.
So maybe they just are good at making a lot of money, and they know that, but they do it while making good storylines. So
Yeah, no. And then just to go segue, one of my cons is honestly like, Hulk was Bruce Banner, a big part of the trailers, and I was excited, when you see like Dr. Banner, are you okay? And you can just tell he's obviously forming to a true raged Hulk that we know in the past. And that we've talked about this before. Spider-Man's never met Hulk when he's raging. Like he's only because when there was the fight in Berlin or wherever they were. It was one of those things. Spider-Man there, Hulk is out off world, and then once Hulk comes back, they meet each other in New York when Thanos' kids are coming. But again, that's just Bruce Banner. It's not Hulk. So this is the first time they've ever met in person with Hulk being a raged out monster, and it's one of those things. I was so excited via the trailer, but then in the end, I think that fell just a little bit short. I think
Short
that
of expectations for you.
yeah, it's
That's fair. I mean, it was really, honestly, all of. I mean, I think they gave you the time, 90 seconds for him to stop the bomb. So yeah, that was probably about all you got out of.
a raged Hulk.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Hulk next because last we saw he was getting shipped off to the hospital. But what does Bruce Banner expect from Hulk, and what does the government expect from Hulk? What do you do with him next? You know?
yeah. I think he's gonna be tied up for a little bit. So
Yep. Okay, you want to go to the next question?
sure, why not?
Okay.
Got nowhere else to go.
How did the dynamic morale clash between Spider-Man and John Berthal's Punisher perform on screen?
On screen, that was amazing. I think they kind of went with like this New York hard, bleep this out, but New York type of vibe, and it worked. Like you get, I don't know what borough. Is he from Staten Island
I think
or Queens? Maybe
Queens.
Queens. We'll have to
Fact
get a
check.
fact check on that. But you know, you got one side, and it's like I don't really know if there's like beef between those boroughs, but you could just tell it's like he's like calling Spidey like kind of playing him down and stuff, and then the end he dresses up like Spider-Man, so he he had a soft spot
He
for him.
finds his own inner spider.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of those things where like they're on performance. Like it's one. I mean, everybody obviously already knows this that in the comics, Spider-Man and John and I keep wanting to say his real name, Spider-Man and the Punisher have beef, and it's just one of those things. It's like your two friends in your friend group that they're friendly, but at the same time they hate each other because
they're
they
always
have
ragging on each other for really no reason, but the rest of the friend group is getting a kick out of it.
exactly, and that's what we got out of this was you got a little bit of that. What are they even fighting for? But also at the same time, you
It's
got
like keep poking the bear.
you got that humor. And one thing I also noticed, I don't know if Spider-Man was just doing this just because it's a new identity, but Tom Holland's New York accent I think was a lot stronger in this one than ever before.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, he was stuck in New York for 4 years. I don't think he ever left. So he's just been, stuck in that apartment, saving crime and doing his time there.
Yep. Methodist acting in his tiny little apartment. Okay, off to the next question. Now, Tony, what is your overall review and final score for Spider-Man Brand New Day?
Like I said, I saw the number 98 before we went into the theater, and I kind of wish I didn't see that. Because, like I said, I feel like whenever I see numbers like that, I'm always like, oh, because I gave it a 90. I'm going to say a 9.1 is where I'm sticking with. Because, again, it's a great film. The story's really good. It moves fast. It's got some humor in it, not as much as some of the early on ones. But I just think that they had to do certain kind of subplots and
They have to build for Doomsday.
yeah, and it's one of those things,
It's,
is it are we going to look back on it in 6 months from now and probably be like, oh wow, they did a great job with what they had at the time? Yeah, but again, I just feel like there was something missing.
well, that's the thing that stinks is like a Spider-Man movie from Tobey's back in his days. It was just a solo Spider-Man movie. Where nowadays it's like every movie has to build to something like the next Marvel movie has to build to something next. So I think that's what's hard is that sometimes you almost wish that there was a way to make a you almost wish that there was a way to make a solo movie without it leaping toward anything bigger. And that's, I mean, especially a Spider-Man movie with the rights that Sony has and Disney has to give up. Every time they make one, it has to be they have to go all out because it's one of those things they don't make as much money, how much profit as they would on like if they were to make a Captain Marvel movie that hits the nail in the coffin and lands in the box office. So I think that's what's kind of tough is. I know for myself, like I thought this movie was great. Again, like you said, the '98, I went in with super high expectations. I did also expect a few more cameos that we didn't see. I mean, again,
I thought the action was what held it up too a good
yeah,
bit. I think there were some like stunts and moves that one I haven't seen in a while,
yeah,
and then two that I've never seen. So
yeah. I there's one scene where he's fighting the 10 hands at the end, and at one point one of the blades goes right by his face, and I like that one got me because that reminded me of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and it was one of those things where I was just like, that gave me my chills. Overall, my score for this was a 90. I mean, it's just one of those things where could it have seen a 10% higher? Yes, but who knows? They'll get there at a later time.
yeah.
And then for my final question, what does the ending and post-credits tease set up for Peter Parker in the broader MCU moving forward?
So I've been already reading the theories, and the one I'm seeing is, and I think that's most likely the one to happen, or it's just going to be the one that's most likely thrown out there, is it is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I think that the thing I've been seeing mostly is that he'll be fighting Doom, and he basically can't stop him, and that's what's going to be able to introduce a lot of like the new X-Men and stuff, the Fox and Disney debacle.
Okay.
So I think that's where, you're going to get both of the worlds colliding in that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I've seen like the post credit was obviously it was what it was, and I mean there's one of those things where so there's still Peter Spider-Man in New York, or excuse me, there's still Tom Spider-Man in New York. Now there's a second one, and everybody's debating on who's it gonna be. I heard already as we were walking out of the theater, people debating over it's gonna be Toby and Andrew, but like it's one of those things.
I feel like we would have saw two spider clicks then.
I agree, but what if one's like just his Spidey mobile is just a little bit slower? His web slingers are not getting there as fast. Like I think it's one of those things we might get kind of one of those things where multiple are coming. It's just that one got in the blip faster, you know. So I think that again we talked about it earlier. This Spider-Man movie had to set up something bigger. The only thing that I wish is I thought we were going to get some sort of almost like a viewing of Tom getting to see Doctor Doom. That obviously didn't make it. It was probably one of those things where
They're saving it.
they're saving that, yeah, for like I mean,
They're letting that sauce simmer a little bit longer.
yeah, and like I mean, that's a very emotional moment with Tom Holland possibly seeing like Iron Man's face on somebody that's evil, and Tom Holland already had to deal with a lot with heartbreak in that movie. So maybe, like you're saying, they're gonna let it simmer a little bit, and then all of a sudden have it cook once Doomsday comes out.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're just going to save everything for Doomsday. So, I mean, I think Vision Quest is the last show to come out. So, there's nothing big in between now and then. So, I don't think that we're really going to get any more between that time, unless if something crazy comes out of D23 in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Maybe we'll get some new, probably, I think we're going to get like everybody in the X-Men role and who's going to play who. So that'll be exciting to say the least.
Yep. But any last final thoughts about the movie overall? Anything?
I do truly wonder if at one point when you see Ned and he's like, oh, this isn't weird what I'm doing, and it's basically just him stalking and setting up a board for Spider-Man, if it is setting up for a Hobgoblin character arc. Because I think he was wearing some of the colors. If I remember, it was kind of like a button-up like that. And I was telling my friend at work about it. I'm like, I think it's setting up for him being Hobgoblin and maybe Spider-Man 5.
Okay.
So that's another theory. That's another theory for me, probably 5 years in the making.
Yeah, and then all that's left for me is that I at one point we see Yelena and she's talking about the big potatoes versus little potatoes. Tom's are little potatoes. The Thunderbolts, the new Avengers, are big potatoes. So it'll be one of those things. I think that was a setup of and the Avengers have big potato projects coming up, and I think it's interesting because I don't know where on the timeline when the Fantastic Four get introduced into our world and her saying all that, like where it is in the Spider-Man movie. But it's one of those things where the new Avengers have a lot going on, and whether she knew that in that movie or knew it afterwards, that's where we're headed with that. So the Thunderbolts have a lot on their hands, and they're probably going to need, even though Spider-Man is only a little potato, they're probably going to need that spud.
Yeah. No. So I think that's all I really got.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm trying to learn Peter Parker and Ned Leeds handshake. So maybe we'll throw that in here at some point.
Okay.
Yep, we'll work on that in between now and then.
Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you guys for all watching. The last video we actually threw up there for D23 did really well. So it's one of those things, we definitely appreciate everybody that's watching the videos. But other than that, you guys have a good one, and just keep enjoying the show, and I don't even know what else to say.
Usually you end off something like, be nice to your cast members.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
do that. Peace.
See ya.